greensandmachines.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the garden. It has been a few weeks. We're now beyond week 10 of the garden. I think we were in week 11. The summer's been very hot. Essentially any of my cool weather crops, the lettuce, the Chinese cabbage, they're pretty much dead now, unfortunately. However, there's one plant that does like the heat, and that is basil. The basil is looking fantastic. Look at this. Very long roots. And you have stems that you can cut, propagate it. I've got about 5 plants or so propagating right now. One of them is actually right here. This one was the first one. And we've got a very small root coming at the bottom. You see there? So I've got some stems in my propagation containers. And within a few days, they'll be ready to put into this garden once they sprout roots. So we're going to have lots of basil, and with basil we can make lots of pesto. While I was cutting stems to propagate the basil, I used the extra leaves, ground it up with some almonds, some cheese, and a bit of garlic there, and olive oil. Made some pesto. Now I know there's a lot of pesto purists who only use pine nuts and Parmesan cheese, but you could really make pesto with pretty much anything. You can substitute anything. You can even substitute the basil for kale if you wanted to. Like anything green works for pesto. So I had that, and I've been making some sandwiches with it as like kind of a spread. It's been pretty good. So I may show off that and my new little blender on the Greens and Machines Food Videos channel. If you have not subscribed to the Food Videos channel, that's where I'll be uploading any future cooking videos, especially with ingredients I use in the garden to that channel. So be sure to subscribe. I'll drop a link below in the description. So one of the bigger developments in the actual design and functionality of this system, I've installed some mesh screens into it. I talked about it in the last update, how I was planning to cut them out and put them in. So what I did, I cut out several semicircles, like half circles with 2-inch radius, and I've embedded those into the channels that are currently running. And these, essentially, you have to slide them in through the top, like where the net pot hole is. Like you have to bend it into position, but once it's in position, the water level doesn't really go over the top of it, which makes it the perfect size for being in the channel. So it just goes there, and any debris typically just it'll get caught in there. If it's too small to where it goes through the mesh, then it's just going to run to the bottom where the pump is, and nothing you can do about it, but it won't clog the system. So far, I've not seen any clogs with the new mesh screen filters. So I have to implement that on the remaining channels once I have them activated. In the next revision of the build guide for this, I'm going to put that as a chapter. So if you have purchased that book already, you'll be able to download the new version once it's available. I'll send an email out to you. If you have not purchased it yet, that is on the Etsy store. It is a build guide on how to build this garden, the parts list, everything you need to know, all the dimensions. So another thing about this garden, kind of getting a bit of wildlife growing around it, namely spiders. It has freaked me out a few times going to the reservoir to try to refill, and there's kind of a black widow taking residence there. I'm hoping that these spiders are doing their job and eating all the flies and whatnot that come around. I haven't seen too many flies or other pests, but if you're going to stay there, you got to be one with the ecosystem here. That's kind of bold coming from me, growing hydroponics in like maybe the most synthetic way possible, but you know, here's your home, here's my food. That's the way it's going to be. So that'll conclude this week's update. Hopefully the next time you see this garden, it is completely filled with basil. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe to Greens and Machines. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.